Chosen one. Listen carefully. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble across these words by coincidence. Heaven has paused the noise around you, silenced distractions, and pulled you into this very moment so that you could hear the confirmation you have been waiting for. You finally won. Every battle that you thought would destroy you was not the end of your story. Every tear you cried in silence was not wasted. The sleepless nights, the rejection, the misunderstandings, these were not signs of weakness, but evidence that you were being set apart. The fact that you are here, reading this, is the divine signature that the victory has already been written in your name. For too long you thought of yourself as small, forgotten, overlooked. You wondered if God heard you, if heaven saw your pain, if your struggles meant you had been abandoned. But here is the truth that hell does not want you to realize. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were being trained, refined, and prepared for this exact moment. You are the proof that light cannot be extinguished by darkness. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is divine intervention. You are here because heaven has something urgent to tell you. October 6 is not just a date on the calendar, it is a line in the sand. It is a day marked for separation. A day heaven chose for you to stand apart, to stay clear, to remain hidden. The world may laugh, but the Spirit is whispering, do not be around anyone on that day. The reason is simple. What is on you is too precious to be drained, too powerful to be contaminated, too costly to be wasted. You carry oil. Chosen one. Your presence carries a frequency that disturbs darkness. Some will be drawn to you because of it. Others will despise you because of it. But make no mistake, everywhere you go, light enters. And on October 6, the assignment of the enemy is to dim that light through distraction, arguments, and unholy connections. That is why the warning is clear. Pull back. Stay set apart. Do not mingle. Heaven did not forget the weight you carried when no one else saw. The secret tears, the unspoken prayers, the nights you almost gave up, all of it was noticed. Your endurance has been written into the scrolls of eternity. And now the reward unfolds. Your victory is undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable. Chosen one. October 6 is not for fear, but for clarity. This day is not about hiding in weakness, but about standing in strength. It is about protecting the sacred oil on your life from the reach of those not meant to walk with you into your next chapter. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. The waiting is over. The time has come, and the revelation is being fulfilled through you. This is the appointed time, and you are the appointed one. You have been misunderstood because you are not meant to blend in. You have been rejected because rejection was actually redirection. You have been pressed down because pressing produces oil. Everything that tried to bury you only planted you deeper in destiny. That is why you are seeing this message right now, because you are stepping out of the hidden place, and the crown is already on your head in the unseen. Chosen one. Lift your head. Shake off the doubt. Wipe the tears from your eyes. You are stepping into a new dimension where fear cannot follow you, where chains cannot bind you, where the opinions of people cannot define you. You are stepping into clarity, into protection, into power. You will not go back to who you were before. You are chosen. You are crowned. You are victorious. Now listen carefully. This message is not just to make you feel good. It is a divine instruction. You must guard what you have been given. That is why October 6 matters. Stay apart. Stay hidden. Stay safe. What you carry is worth protecting. If this resonates with your spirit, if you can feel the truth in these words, then act in obedience. Do not delay. Comment the prophetic number 777 below to seal this victory in your life. And if you know you are one of God's chosen, like this message, share it with someone who needs hope. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the words heaven is releasing for you. Your new chapter has begun. You finally won. Chosen one. Now that the signal has been revealed and the divine date has been spoken, you need to understand why your journey has been so heavy. You have walked through battles that would have crushed others. You endured storms that made no sense at the time. And you carried burdens no one else could see. These were not punishments, but trainings. Heaven sharpened you in silence, preparing you for a role larger than you imagined. The struggles that almost broke you were not ordinary. They were carefully permitted because of the extraordinary mantle on your life. You asked yourself, why me? Why must I carry so much? The truth is this: you were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You are set apart. And set apart, ones are required to walk through fire that others could not survive. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every rejection turned into redirection. Every closed door became a shield from traps you did not see. The losses you thought meant defeat were actually victories disguised in sorrow. Without those hidden battles, you would not carry the authority you now carry. You would not walk with the wisdom you now walk with. What was crushing was also creating. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm. These words were not just written for ancient Israel. They echo now for you. Your life has never been random. The plan has always existed. Every step, even the painful ones, were aligned with destiny. Think back on the times you should have lost everything. Remember the accident you survived, the heartbreak you overcame, the depression that did not kill you, the loneliness that did not consume you. All of those moments were proof that heaven's hand was guarding you. Others fell into the same traps and did not return. But you are still here. Why? Because you are chosen. Because your hidden battles were necessary for your visible victory. It is tempting to resent the pain, to look back at what you endured and ask why it had to be that way. But heaven whispers, without those battles, you would not recognize me as your deliverer. Without those scars, you would not recognize your own strength. Your hidden battles became a testimony, a secret history between you and God. They cannot be taken from you, and they will become the very foundation from which you help others. Do you realize the danger you present to darkness now? You carry wisdom that cannot be faked, because it was born in suffering. You carry compassion that cannot be manufactured, because it was born in loneliness. You carry authority that cannot be bought, because it was forged in fire. That is why your hidden battles matter. They built you into someone unshakable. Many people are content to live shallow lives. Untouched by great struggle, they never question, never seek, never hunger for more. But you were pushed into depths because you were created for heights. Only those who walk through deep waters can climb great mountains. Your hidden battles have carved out the depth in you that heaven requires. Chosen one. Do not despise your past. Do not curse the nights of silence, the seasons of emptiness, the friendships that failed you. They were pruning you. They were cutting off the dead branches so that fruit could grow. They were shifting you from dependency on people to dependency on God. The loneliness you hated was actually the womb of your new identity. This is why the world could not understand you. They judged you based on what they saw. But they never knew the battles you fought behind closed doors. They saw your smile, but they did not see the tears. They saw your strength, but they did not see the trembling hands in the midnight hour. Heaven saw it all, and heaven honored it all. Now, when October 6 comes and separation surrounds you, you will realize that this day is not just about isolation. It is the visible sign of all the hidden battles you have survived. It is heaven saying, "The training is complete. The time has arrived. You are no longer in the shadows. You are stepping into destiny." Oh, never forget. Chosen one. The secret history between you and God is your unshakable foundation. Others may not understand, but they were not meant to. Your hidden battles are holy, and they are proof of your anointing. The scars you carry are not shame. They are your crown. Chosen one. Your hidden battles have been revealed. And now it is time to face the truth of who you are in the spiritual realm. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are marked by light in a world that trembles in darkness. This is why your life has never looked like the lives of those around you, because your very presence shifts the atmosphere. Do you wonder why people sometimes turn cold without explanation? Why certain rooms suddenly feel tense when you walk in? Why conversations shift when you enter? It is because you carry something that cannot be ignored. Light exposes what is hidden, and your light disturbs the shadows. Those who cling to darkness feel uneasy when you appear, even if they cannot explain why. This is the cost of being chosen. You were born to be different, and difference always attracts resistance. Some will admire you, some will envy you, some will resent you, but none will be able to ignore you. Your calling makes you magnetic to both heaven and hell. Angels move when you speak, but so does opposition. You are not invisible in the spirit. You are a burning torch. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This is not a call to weakness, but to confidence. You do not have to fight every accusation, answer every critic, or prove yourself to those who doubt you. Heaven has already marked you, and no amount of slander or attack can erase that. So hear this clearly. Never mistake rejection for failure. Rejection is a sign of direction. Every person who walked away from you, every friendship that collapsed, every door that shut, those were divine protections. Heaven was shielding you from those who could not walk into your destiny. You are chosen, and not everyone can handle the weight of that calling. Your life is not supposed to mirror the lives of others. You are not meant to conform. You are meant to disrupt, to break cycles, to shift atmospheres. That is why you cannot enjoy the same shallow pleasures others chase. That is why certain compromises make you uneasy, That is why you feel restless when you try to fit in. It is not rebellion, it is alignment with your true identity. Chosen one. Understand this. Your light terrifies darkness because it reminds the enemy of what he lost. You are a living testimony that God still raises up warriors who carry his image with power. You are proof that resilience can be born in pain, that crowns can be forged from scars, that destiny cannot be denied. The enemy may roar, but his roar is hollow. His schemes might distract, but they cannot destroy. His whispers may lie, but they cannot cancel truth. You are living evidence of the victory already declared in heaven. Your very existence is resistance against darkness. That is why you are still standing. That is why you are still chosen. And now, I want you to anchor this truth into your spirit. Do not just hear these words, respond to them. Seal them with your agreement. Right now, type into the comments, I am chosen. M-O. Why those three words? Because they are both declaration and identity. Every time you speak them, you remind yourself and the atmosphere that your calling is not up for debate. By writing it, you are not only claiming it for yourself, but you are declaring it to unseen realms. It is an act of alignment. It is a prophetic act of agreement. It is saying, I believe what heaven says about me, even if the world disagrees. Every chosen one must learn the power of declaration. When you type those words, you are not just leaving a comment, you are signing a covenant. You are agreeing with heaven, pushing back against hell, and anchoring your identity deeper within your spirit. This is more than words on a screen. It is spiritual warfare through confession. So, let the world misunderstand you. Let the critics laugh. Let the doubters whisper. None of it matters. Because heaven already stamped your identity. Your hidden battles shaped you. Your isolation protected you. And your light exposed darkness. You are chosen, and you must never forget it. When the enemy tries to whisper, you are nothing, answer back, I am chosen. Oh, when loneliness presses in and makes you question your worth, answer back, I am chosen. Oh, when opportunities close and people turn away, answer back, I am chosen. Oh, the power of that declaration is this: it cannot be taken from you. It cannot be revoked. It cannot be denied. It is the eternal truth of your existence. You are chosen, and no voice on earth or in hell can undo that. Let this section be the reminder you needed. You disturb darkness because you carry light. You are misunderstood because you are marked. You are resisted because you are powerful. You are separated because you are sacred. And above all, you are chosen. Now seal it. Write it. Declare it. I am chosen. End quote. Chosen one. You have seen the signal. You have recognized the weight of your hidden battles. And you have begun to declare your identity. Now the Spirit draws your attention to a specific moment, October 6. This date is not a coincidence, not an accident, not a random number on a calendar. It is a red-letter day in heaven's timing, set apart for you. From the beginning of time, God has worked through appointed moments. He moves not in chaos but in order, not in accident but in divine alignment. There are days when heaven breaks into earth, when the unseen becomes visible, when what has been hidden suddenly takes form. October 6 is one of those days for you. It is not about fear, but about separation. It is not about danger, but about destiny. Think of it this way. There are thresholds in your life, invisible doors that you cross when one season ends and another begins. You rarely recognize the threshold until you have already stepped through it. But heaven knows exactly when and where it lies. October 6 is such a threshold. It marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Chosen one. You may wonder why a date would matter so much. The truth is that spiritual realms mark time differently than men do. To heaven, October 6 is not just a number, it is a prophetic signal. It is a line drawn in eternity where something new begins for you. That is why the instruction to step back matters, because distractions on that day could cost you clarity, and connections could cost you purity. Imagine standing on a mountaintop, the wind rushing around you, the valley below stretching wide. You hear the whisper of God's voice, clearer than ever before. That is the atmosphere October 6 will bring. But imagine also trying to hear that whisper while standing in a crowded room full of voices pulling you in every direction. That is why separation is essential. You cannot afford to drown out the voice of destiny. This day is not about paranoia or superstition. It is about obedience. The same God who carried you through battles you never thought you would survive is the same God who is asking you to step back for one day of consecration. Will you listen? Will you trust that His instruction is for your protection? Chosen one. Think about the patterns in your life. How often has the enemy tried to strike just before your breakthrough? How many times has a distraction, a sudden conflict, or a false opportunity appeared right before your elevation? October 6 is not just about avoiding people, it is about refusing to fall into the same cycles again. It is about saying, this time, I will not be pulled away. This time, I will honor the appointment. The presence of heaven will surround you on that day. You may feel an unusual stillness in the air, a silence in your spirit, or even a sudden weight of clarity. These are not accidents. They are signs that the day has been sanctified, and while others may go about their business unaware, you will stand in the awareness that something eternal is unfolding. You may feel lonely, but remember, you are not alone. You may feel hidden, but remember, you are protected. You may feel separated, but remember, you are chosen. October 6 is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is the day when heaven shields you so that your oil cannot be stolen, your crown cannot be shaken, and your destiny cannot be delayed. What you do on that day matters. If you honor it with stillness, you will step forward with strength. If you resist the urge to surround yourself with noise, you will hear the whisper of direction. If you choose solitude, you will step into clarity. But if you dismiss it, if you treat it lightly, you risk losing what was meant for you. Chosen one. Never forget that God speaks through times and seasons, just as He commanded Israel to keep holy days, just as He marked moments of remembrance for His people. He marks this day for you. October 6 is your memorial stone, your appointed hour, your threshold into something new. You have carried the weight, endured the trials, and declared your identity. Now you must honor the timing. October 6 is heaven's appointment, and it is yours to keep. Step back, stay still, and let the presence of God fight for you in silence. Chosen one, there is something you must understand about victory. Not every triumph is loud. Not every breakthrough is celebrated by trumpets in the streets. Some victories are sealed in silence, hidden from the eyes of men, but written in golden ink across the pages of heaven. You have already won, but the world may not recognize it yet. Consider a seed buried deep in the soil. No one sees it struggle. No one hears the breaking of its shell. No one notices the silent war it fights against darkness and pressure, and yet, in the stillness of the ground, it wins. One day, the soil that seemed to bury it becomes the very stage for its breakthrough as it rises, green and alive, into the light. That is your victory. It was not announced in noise, but it is undeniable. The same is true of a sculptor chiseling stone. To onlookers, the hammer strikes look destructive, even harsh, but the artist sees what others cannot. Each blow removes what does not belong until beauty is revealed. Your battles were heaven's chisels. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every rejection, it all shaped you into the masterpiece you now are. What looked like breaking was actually revealing. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Psalms chapter 34, verse 19. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Think of a sunrise. The world still lies in darkness long before dawn, but while the earth sleeps, the sky is already shifting. Light is already breaking, and the new day is inevitable. That is how your victory has come before anyone noticed, before anyone clapped, before anyone gave you credit. Heaven already declared it, and the dawn cannot be stopped. This is why you must hold your head high even when no one applauds. You must learn to walk with confidence even when the room is silent, because the greatest confirmation does not come from people, but from God Himself. Your crown does not require validation from the crowd. It only requires the touch of the King. And yet, as you carry this message in your heart, remember, you are not walking alone. Others need to hear what you are hearing. There are chosen ones scattered across the earth, scrolling through their days, burdened with battles they cannot explain. They do not yet realize that their silent struggles are victories in disguise. By sharing light, you help them see what you now see. Think of yourself as a lantern in a dark valley. Your flame may feel small, but for someone lost in the night, it is everything. When you let your light shine, whether through your words, your testimony, or even by passing this message along, you become a guidepost. Someone else will see your lantern and find the courage to keep walking. That is why, if this word resonates with your spirit, I invite you to let it ripple outward, like a stone cast into water. Its waves can reach shores you cannot see. By liking this message, you let it stay visible, shining longer for others who need it. By sharing it, you send the wave further, into places you may never step, but where your obedience reaches. And by subscribing, you keep your lantern trimmed and burning, ensuring you do not miss the next whisper heaven releases for you. This is not about numbers or recognition. It is about obedience. It is about multiplying light in a world desperate for it. Every like is a spark. Every share is a flame. Every subscription is oil for your lamp. Together, they make sure the message of victory continues to shine until every chosen one sees their reflection in it. Do not underestimate the power of simple acts. A single seed carries a forest within it. A single drop of water can carve valleys over time. A single word of hope can stop someone from giving up. In the same way, your small action, clicking, sharing, subscribing, may seem insignificant, but in heaven's view, it is a ripple that becomes a wave. Remember, chosen one, your victory is real, even if quiet. Your breakthrough is sealed, even if unseen. And your testimony is not just for you, it is a beacon for others. By passing on what you have received, you become part of the divine chain that carries light into the darkest corners. Walk tall in this truth. You are victorious. You are crowned. And you are radiant, even if the world has not yet applauded. Heaven has already celebrated. And now, through your obedience, others will join that celebration. Chosen one, now that you have understood that your victory was sealed in silence, you must also learn the deeper meaning of isolation. Too often, separation feels like rejection. Too often, being alone feels like abandonment. But when heaven sets you apart, it is never to punish, it is always to protect. On October 6, the instruction was clear. Step back. Be set apart. Do not mingle. You may be tempted to question this. You may ask yourself, why should I withdraw when I finally feel strong? Why should I stay apart when I long for connection? The answer is simple: protection. Some seasons require you to be hidden, not because you are weak, but because what you carry is priceless. Think of a flame flickering in the wind. If left exposed, it risks being extinguished. But if sheltered within a lantern, it grows steady, spreading warmth and light. That is what heaven is doing for you, sheltering your flame, not smothering it. Your isolation is a lantern of protection around the fire of your destiny. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17, "Therefore, come out from them and be separate, says the Lord. Touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you." This is not a call to arrogance, but to holiness, not to pride, but to purity. Heaven is not asking you to reject people. It is asking you to guard what has been placed on your life. Every chosen one must pass through seasons of separation. Moses spent years in the desert before leading a nation. David was hidden in caves before sitting on the throne. Even Jesus himself withdrew to the wilderness before beginning his ministry. Separation is the furnace that refines, the womb that births, the silence that prepares. You cannot skip it, because it is what equips you. And here lies the mystery. People often chase crowds to feel validated, but heaven calls you away from them so you can be validated by God alone. When you honor that call, you find strength no crowd could give you, peace no applause could secure, and clarity no friend could provide. Chosen one, if your heart aches in isolation, remember this: diamonds form in pressure, but they are protected in darkness until they are ready to shine. Caterpillars dissolve in hidden cocoons before they emerge as butterflies. Seeds break apart in silent soil before rising into the light. So it is with you. Your separation is your transformation. Do not fear being set apart. Fear instead the danger of compromising what you carry. On October 6, the safest place for you is in the covering of solitude. That is where heaven will whisper your next instruction, where your spirit will be sharpened, and where your oil will be preserved. Now I ask you to act on this truth. Anchor it into your spirit, not with fear, but with faith. Right now, in the comments, write this prophetic number, 444. Why 444? Because it symbolizes divine stability, a foundation unshakable by storms. It is the reminder that even in separation, you are surrounded on every side by God's presence. By writing it, you declare, I am safe. I am covered. I am unshakable. Do not underestimate the act. Just as Israel placed stones to mark where God had delivered them, you are placing a marker in this moment. The number becomes a memorial, a reminder, a declaration that your solitude is not emptiness but covering. When others see that number, they may not understand, but in the spirit, it thunders like a banner. You are aligned with heaven's instruction, and you are not afraid to stand apart when commanded. It is an act of obedience, but also an act of identity. Chosen one. Hear this once more. Isolation is not abandonment, it is armor. Separation is not punishment, it is preparation. The call to step back is not about fear, it is about favor. Your life is too valuable to be left exposed, and your crown is too costly to be wasted. When October 6 arrives, remember the flame in the lantern. Remember the diamond hidden in the dark. Remember the seed breaking silently underground. What looks like stillness is actually the stage for your next growth. What feels like solitude is actually safety. What seems like separation is actually sanctification. Lift your head in confidence, not shame. Walk into the quiet with assurance, not fear. For you are not just stepping back, you are stepping into a shield woven by heaven itself. Chosen one. Your oil is too precious, your destiny too great, and your crown too sacred to risk. Guard it. Honor it, and trust that heaven knows exactly why this day of separation is required. You will understand fully soon. Chosen one. There is a reason the instruction for separation comes just before the shift. When heaven is preparing to move you into a new season, the enemy launches his last and fiercest attempts to drag you back into old cycles. This is not random. It is a strategy as old as time. You have probably noticed it already. Just when you begin to gain clarity, someone from your past suddenly reappears. Just when you commit to peace, chaos knocks on your door. Just when you say yes to growth, temptation whispers in your ear. This is not coincidence. These are deliberate tactics designed to make you stumble before your step forward. The enemy knows he cannot strip away what God has already given you. He cannot cancel your crown or erase your name from heaven's scrolls. But what he tries to do is distract you, entangle you, and wear you down until you willingly let go of what you carry. That is why the days before breakthrough often feel the hardest. Think of Israel standing at the edge of the promised land. After all, the years of wandering, just before stepping into destiny, fear and doubt spread among them. The land was theirs, promised by God. But the enemy planted thoughts of giants too great to conquer. Many gave in to fear, and as a result, they delayed their entry. The same tactic appears in your life. The moment you are closest to destiny is often the moment the enemy paints the loudest lies. Chosen one. The distractions may look harmless at first. A friend wanting your time. An opportunity that seems good but does not carry peace. A conversation that drains you. A door that looks open but leads back to bondage. Pay attention. What seems small may actually be a snare designed to pull you off course. This is why discernment matters. Not every good thing is a God thing. Not every open door is meant for you to walk through. Some opportunities are traps dressed in light. Some relationships are chains wrapped in sweetness. Some invitations are bait, waiting to pull you into places you no longer belong. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord. Think of a marathon runner nearing the finish line. The body screams for relief. The legs ache. The lungs burn. The temptation to slow down, to stop just short of the goal, is overwhelming. But the prize is not given to the one who almost finishes, it is given to the one who endures to the end. That is you, chosen one. You are too close to stop now. This is why October 6 has been marked so clearly. It is a divine checkpoint, a place where the enemy will throw distractions, but also where heaven's protection will cover you. Your obedience to step back is not about legalism, it is about shielding your crown from last-minute sabotage. Be sober. Be alert. Be discerning. The closer you get to destiny, the more carefully you must guard your spirit. Not everyone can go with you into your next season. Not every voice should be trusted. Not every hand stretched toward you is meant to walk alongside you. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. Remember this, the enemy's last attempts are always desperate. He knows what is coming for you. He knows the shift that heaven has already sealed. He knows that once you cross into your new chapter, his grip will lose power. That is why he fights hardest now. But do not let fear creep in. Instead, let confidence rise. You are not alone in this battle. You are surrounded by angelic reinforcement. You are guided by divine instruction. You are held by the one who already declared your victory. Nothing the enemy sends can overpower the hand of God upon your life. Chosen one. This season of resistance is proof that you are near the threshold. The turbulence you feel is confirmation that your plane is about to land. The shaking you experience is evidence that the foundation is being laid. The warfare you sense is not random, it is the shadow of your breakthrough approaching. Stand strong. Guard your oil. Protect your peace. Remember the instruction. And know this, no matter how loud the distractions, no matter how cunning the traps, no matter how fierce the resistance, your victory is already sealed. Chosen one. There are moments in your journey when heaven begins to pull you out without explanation. You feel the shift before you can name it. Conversations that once flowed suddenly feel heavy. Places that once brought comfort begin to feel unfamiliar. Habits that once entertained you no longer hold your attention. At first, you wonder if something is wrong with you. But in truth, something is right. You are being pulled out. This is the gentle yet undeniable sign that your spirit is aligning with a new season. The things that once fit now feel tight because you have outgrown them. The voices that once guided you now feel distant because you are learning to hear heaven directly. Even the relationships that once seemed unshakable may begin to fade. not because of hatred, but because of divine redirection. It is like wearing clothes that once fit perfectly, but now restrict your movement. Growth demands change, and discomfort is often the first signal that elevation is near. You cannot stretch into destiny while clinging to garments from a past season. Heaven knows this, so the Spirit begins to tug gently, separating you from what no longer serves your calling. The ancient words recorded in Romans still echo today. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. These words remind you that transformation always comes with discomfort. To be renewed, you must release. To be aligned, you must let go. Chosen one. The signs of being pulled out are not random. Pay attention to them. When your spirit grows restless in certain environments, it is heaven whispering, "You do not belong here anymore." When old temptations suddenly lose their grip on you, it is not weakness, it is strength rising. When you feel unusually drained by people or places that once energized you, it is your spirit signaling that the season has shifted. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are not unstable for desiring something more. You are simply outgrowing what cannot go with you into the next chapter. The caterpillar does not despise the cocoon. It recognizes it as a temporary shelter. But when wings begin to form, the cocoon becomes too small. That pressure, that tightness, that restlessness, it is not destruction. It is transformation. One of the most difficult parts of this process is watching people misunderstand you. They may think you are distant. They may assume you are cold. They may accuse you of changing. And in truth, you are changing, but not in the way they think. You are becoming more of who you were always created to be. Their misunderstanding is not a reflection of your failure, but of their inability to see the bigger picture. Chosen one. When heaven begins to pull you out, obedience becomes critical. If you resist, clinging to what is familiar, you delay your own breakthrough. If you obey, even through tears, you discover the freedom of walking in your true assignment. Letting go may hurt, but holding on will suffocate. That is why separation is not cruelty, it is mercy. Think of a bird teaching its young to fly. The nest was once a place of safety, but if the parent leaves the young there forever, it becomes a place of limitation. The push from the nest feels frightening, but it is the only way to learn the power of wings. Your spirit has wings now, and heaven will not let you stay in places that no longer allow you to fly. You may find yourself weeping for what is leaving. That is natural. You may miss the people who drift away, the patterns you once leaned on, the comfort of the familiar, but your tears are not wasted. They are watering the soil for new growth. Every goodbye clears space for what is meant to come. Every ending prepares you for the beginning, already written. Chosen one. Trust the signs. Trust the restlessness. Trust the gentle pull that will not leave you alone. This is heaven aligning you, not punishing you. You are not wandering without direction. You are being guided by unseen hands. You are not falling apart. You are being carefully rebuilt. And when the fullness of this season comes, you will look back and see why it all had to happen this way. You will realize that the doors that closed were shields. The friendships that faded were diversions. The restlessness you felt was the Spirit preparing you for flight. You will not regret what you released, because what is ahead will be greater than anything behind. So do not despise the discomfort. Do not fight the restlessness. Do not cling to the cocoon. Allow heaven to pull you out. For what feels like loss is really alignment. What feels like emptiness is really preparation. And what feels like ending is really the beginning of your next dimension. Chosen one. Your spirit has been stirred. Your awareness awakened. And your destiny has been confirmed. Now, it is time to take ownership of the crown placed upon your life. You have walked through shadows, endured the fire, and survived storms meant to drown you. Yet here you stand marked, refined, and chosen. But the crown does not simply sit on your head. It must be claimed by your words, your actions, and your agreement with heaven. Every king and queen in history has had to step into their throne moment. Some were anointed long before they were recognized. David was crowned in secret by the prophet Samuel, long before the people saw him as king. Yet, even in hiding, the crown was real. The anointing was undeniable. That is the season you are in. Heaven already crowned you. But now you must claim it publicly, not with fanfare, but with faith. You see, the crown is more than gold and jewels. It is the authority you carry in the unseen. It is the weight of light on your shoulders, the fire of heaven on your head, the whisper of God guiding your steps. The crown declares that you are set apart, not just to survive, but to lead, to influence, to shift atmospheres, to break chains for others. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Still, you may doubt. You may feel unworthy. You may think of all your flaws, your mistakes, your failures. But let me remind you, the crown is not earned by perfection. It is given by grace. If crowns were reserved only for the flawless, no one would wear them. You are crowned because you endured. You are crowned because you obeyed. You are crowned because heaven saw in you what you could not yet see in yourself. The enemy would prefer you to stay silent about your crown. He wants you to shrink, to deny, to hide, to dismiss what you carry. But heaven calls you to speak it, to declare it, to anchor it with your words. That is why, right now, I want you to type into the comments, "I wear my crown." Oh, these 4 words are not casual. They are a declaration. When you write them, you are claiming what has already been placed on your life. You are saying, "I will no longer deny what God has done in me. I will no longer pretend to be ordinary when I have been marked as extraordinary. I will walk boldly in my calling." Understand the power behind this act. In the unseen realm, words are not just noise, they are keys. They open doors. They seal covenants. They break chains. By declaring, "I wear my crown," you are refusing to let the enemy steal your voice. You are choosing to align your mouth with heaven's truth, not with hell's lies. Chosen one. This is not arrogance. This is obedience. You are not boasting in yourself. You are boasting in what God has done. You are not lifting yourself up. You are agreeing with the one who lifted you from the pit. When you say, "I wear my crown," you are not pointing to your strength but to his. Think of a soldier receiving a medal after battle. The medal does not erase the wounds or the scars. It honors the endurance. Your crown is the same. It does not mean you never bled, never wept, never stumbled. It means you endured. You rose again. And you kept walking when quitting would have been easier. The crown is not proof that you never fell. It is proof that you never stayed down. And as you step forward wearing it, you become more than a survivor. You become a sign. Others will see you and recognize what is possible. Your testimony becomes a torch. Your light becomes a map. Your crown becomes a reminder that they, too, can rise. So let the world question you. Let doubters whisper. Let critics mock. None of it matters, because your crown was never given by them, and so it cannot be removed by them. Only heaven has the authority to crown, and heaven has already done so. Walk with your head high, not in pride, but in holy confidence. Live as one who knows the weight of glory resting upon them. Do not shrink. Do not apologize for being chosen. The crown is not just for you. It is for every life you are meant to impact. Chosen one. This is your moment of declaration. This is where you stop hiding and start shining. This is where you say with boldness what heaven has already spoken. I wear my crown. Then, chosen one. There is a mystery that happens when a curtain is lifted. For a long time, the stage is hidden. The audience only sees a closed veil, unaware of the movement, the preparation, the shifting taking place behind it. But the actors know, the director knows. The whole stage has been set for the moment when the curtain rises and the story begins to unfold. That is where you stand now. October 6 was marked as a day of separation. But after that day, the curtain begins to lift. What was hidden will be revealed. What was whispered in secret will be declared openly. What was delayed will suddenly accelerate. You will step out, not in weakness, but in the fullness of who you are. Think of a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. For a long season, it looked like nothing was happening. The world might even have thought it was dead, but inside, transformation was taking place in silence. Then, in a moment, wings appear, color bursts forth, and the air that once felt impossible to reach becomes the natural place to dwell. That is the unveiling of your life. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is not just a poetic line, it is a command. It is heaven instructing you that the season of hiding has ended. It is time to rise. It is time to shine. The curtain is being lifted. Chosen one. You must not fear this unveiling. For too long, you questioned if you were ready, if you were strong enough, if you were worthy of stepping into what heaven promised. But just as the seed cannot resist breaking through the soil when the season comes, you cannot resist rising when heaven calls. The time is not chosen by you, it is chosen by God. And when He says, now, the universe aligns to make space for you. Yet remember, when the curtain rises, the audience is not always friendly. Some will applaud your light, but others will criticize it. Some will celebrate your growth, but others will mock it. Do not let the noise sway you. The butterfly does not apologize to the caterpillar for growing wings. The seed does not apologize to the soil for breaking through. Neither must you apologize for stepping into your light. This is also why the message must ripple outward. Imagine you are holding a lantern on a dark path. The light may be small in your hand, but to someone stumbling in the night, it becomes a lifeline. By keeping it to yourself, you limit its reach. But when you raise it high, others see the path too. That is what happens when you allow this message to spread. If these words are stirring something deep in you, if you sense the curtain lifting in your own life, I invite you to let this light shine further. By liking this word, you allow it to stay visible longer, like a candle burning steadily in the night. By sharing it, you send its flame into places you may never walk yourself, but where others desperately need the glow. And by subscribing, you keep your own lantern trimmed, making sure you do not miss the next flame heaven places in your hands. This is not about recognition or popularity. It is about obedience and compassion. Every time you pass on light, you become part of a greater movement. Think of a forest at night, where one torch becomes two become 10, and suddenly the whole landscape glows. That is what happens when chosen ones unite in spreading truth. Do not underestimate the small gestures. A single spark can ignite a wildfire. A single drop of rain can nourish a field. A single word of encouragement can keep someone from giving up. In the same way, your action, simple as a like, share, or subscribe, carries ripples beyond what your eyes can see. Heaven takes small obedience and multiplies it into eternal impact. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where your light cannot be hidden. The curtain is lifting. The wings are unfolding. The soil is breaking. This is not the time to shrink back. It is the time to rise boldly. And as you rise, do not forget that your testimony carries the power to awaken others. So let your voice join the chorus. Let your actions carry weight. Let your light burn brightly, not just for yourself, but for every soul still waiting behind their own curtain. Arise. Shine, because your light has come. Chosen one. As the curtain lifts and your light begins to shine, there is something you must understand. Your victory is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a greater assignment. You did not walk through the fire, endure the wilderness, and carry scars simply for your own story. What you survived is now the very tool you will use to lead others out of their valleys. Every chosen one carries a mission. You may not have asked for it. You may have wished for a quieter life, one free of battles and responsibilities. But destiny does not rest on preference. It rests on purpose. And your purpose, chosen one, is bigger than your comfort. Your scars are keys that unlock the prisons of others. Your voice is a bridge for those still drowning in silence. Think of Moses. He did not choose to be the deliverer of Israel. He was simply rescued as a child, raised in Pharaoh's house, and driven into the wilderness. His past was filled with contradictions, prince and fugitive, insider and outsider, and yet it was those very contradictions that made him the perfect one to stand between a nation and their oppressor. His scars were his credentials. The same is true for you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And do not think your assignment must be grand in the eyes of the world. Some chosen ones speak to nations. Others speak to one person at a time. Some stand on stages. Others sit quietly with a broken soul. Some write books. Others speak hope into their children. The size of the platform does not determine the weight of the calling. Faithfulness does. Obedience does. Love does. Your mission is to be a carrier of light wherever you are placed. That light may disrupt darkness in your home, your workplace, your friendships, or even strangers you pass. The assignment is not about fame, it is about impact. It is about being a living testimony that darkness cannot win where light is present. Chosen one, your victory has given you authority. You can now speak into battles you once thought would destroy you. You can now lay hands on others struggling with chains you once carried. You can now recognize the signs of warfare in someone else because you fought the same wars in secret. This is the beauty of your assignment. It is born out of your survival. But here is the weight of it. You must embrace it willingly. You cannot shrink back, hoping someone else will step in. The very reason you were chosen is because there are people assigned to your voice, your story, your obedience. If you stay silent, they may stay trapped. If you hid your light, they may remain in darkness. That is why heaven calls you forward. The enemy knows this, which is why he fought you so fiercely. His attacks were not only about destroying you, they were about silencing the assignment attached to you. If he could silence you, he could keep countless others bound. But he failed. You are still here. You are still chosen. And now, your assignment begins. Chosen one, lift your eyes. See beyond your pain. Recognize the faces of those waiting for you. Hear the cries of those who are desperate for hope. Feel the weight of destiny resting on your shoulders, not as a burden to crush you, but as a mantle to empower you. You are not carrying it alone. Heaven is with you, guiding every step, fueling every word, strengthening every action. This is the truth. Your assignment is bigger than you, but it is not too big for you. Every step you take in obedience will open doors. Every act of courage will break chains. Every time you speak, your words will carry more weight than you realize, because they are backed by heaven. Chosen one, you are not just a survivor, you are a deliverer. You are not just someone who made it through, you are a guide for others, still trapped. You are not just a story of victory, you are a living instruction for others to follow. This is the assignment after the win. Embrace it. Walk in it. Let your scars shine as proof that God still rescues, still restores, still redeems. Your life is no longer just your own. It is a light post, a guide, a testimony for the world. Chosen one, you have learned that your victory is not just about survival, but about stepping into your divine assignment. Yet even now, heaven gives you a reminder. Alignment matters. Numbers, times, and seasons are not accidents. They are signals woven into creation, markers of divine order that remind you where you stand in the story. That is why you are often nudged toward prophetic numbers. They are not superstition, they are signs. When God moves in the earth, He speaks not only in words but in patterns. Look at the stars, placed in order. Look at the days of creation, carefully arranged. Look at the feasts and holy days, each one timed with precision. Heaven is mathematical, intentional, structured. Nothing is random. The very breath you take is rhythm. The very beat of your heart is number. Prophetic numbers are heaven's way of saying, you are aligned, you are on time, you are not forgotten. When you see them, you are reminded that you walk under a greater plan. When you write them, you anchor yourself to that truth. It is not about luck, it is about obedience, agreement, and remembrance. The Apostle Paul wrote with clarity in his letter, and the Spirit confirms through Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. This is not just motivation, it is alignment. You are reminded that what is unfolding in your life is not by your strength, but by divine empowerment. The numbers you declare are a way of saying, I believe, I agree, I align. Lo, chosen one. Today, your prophetic act is simple but weighty. Write this number, 555. Why 555? Because it speaks of divine grace multiplied, a triple reminder that God's favor surrounds you, empowers you, and lifts you. Grace is what carried you through your hidden battles. Grace is what crowns you now. Grace is what will empower you to fulfill your assignment. By declaring 555, you are saying, I receive grace in full measure. Think of Noah. The flood destroyed everything around him. But grace lifted the ark above the waters. That same grace is what sustains you now. Think of Esther. She should never have entered the throne room. But grace opened the door and gave her favor before a king. That same grace is what places crowns on chosen ones. Think of Paul, who carried a thorn in his flesh, but whose testimony was, my grace is sufficient for you. That same grace is what steadies your spirit today. When you type 555, you are not just writing digits, you are building an altar in the digital space. Just as Israel stacked stones to remember God's deliverance, you are stacking a marker of remembrance. Every time your eyes see it, you are reminded, grace is my portion. Grace is my covering. Grace is my path forward. Chosen one. Prophetic acts like these may seem small to the world, but they thunder in the Spirit. Hell despises them because they are confessions of victory. Heaven treasures them because they are confessions of faith. And your spirit strengthens through them because they are confessions of alignment. You cannot carry your assignment on your own. You cannot walk into destiny by sheer willpower. You need grace. That is why this number matters. It is a prophetic banner over your life declaring, I am covered. I am strengthened. I am not walking alone. Remember the times you thought you could not go on, but somehow you did. That was grace. Remember the mistakes that should have ended everything, but instead you were restored. That was grace. Remember the prayers you prayed when words would not come, and yet peace wrapped around you. That was grace. It has always been there, and it will always be enough. By choosing to write 555, you are stepping into the flow of that grace. You are saying, I cannot, but Christ in me can. I may stumble, but His hand will lift me. I may face storms, but His presence will sustain me. That declaration aligns you with truth greater than your feelings, greater than your circumstances, greater than your doubts. Chosen one. Understand this clearly. Prophetic numbers are not magic, they are markers. They are reminders that you are walking in rhythm with eternity. They help anchor your heart when the world tries to shake you. They remind you that you are not wandering, you are aligned. So, as you step into this next season, do not lean on your own understanding. Do not cling to your own strength. Lean into grace. Rest in it. Declare it. Live from it. And let 555 be your reminder that grace is your foundation, your future, and your forever covering. Chosen one. You have carried your crown into a new season, but now comes one of the most crucial lessons of your journey: how to guard the oil of your anointing. Victory is not only about winning battles, it is about learning to protect what has been poured into you. Oil in Scripture always represents the Spirit, consecration, and power. And just as oil was costly in the natural, your spiritual oil is costly in the unseen. You did not receive this anointing cheaply. It came through fire, through tears, through endurance that others never saw. Every sleepless night became part of the crushing. Every moment of surrender became part of the pressing. And from that pressing, heaven released oil that now rests on your life. But oil, if not guarded, can be wasted. Consider the parable of the wise and foolish virgins. 5 kept their lamps filled. 5 let their oil run out. The difference was not in calling all were invited. The difference was in stewardship. Some valued their oil enough to guard it, while others treated it carelessly and missed their appointed moment. This is the warning to every chosen one. What you carry is powerful, but it must be protected. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings. 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. You may feel the weight of isolation more intensely in this season because oil must be kept in consecrated vessels. You are that vessel. That is why not every person can have full access to you. That is why your spirit resists certain conversations, certain atmospheres, certain habits. Heaven is teaching you how to preserve what has been entrusted to you. Chosen one. Remember how precious this oil is. It is the reason doors open for you when others are shut. It is the reason you can discern things others miss. It is the reason your words carry unusual weight, shifting the atmosphere around you. But with such power comes the responsibility to guard it. Do not waste it on arguments that do not matter. Do not pour it into relationships that continually trample it. Do not spend it on pursuits that drain you without feeding your spirit. Your oil is too costly to be spilled recklessly. Guarding the oil also means knowing where to pour it. The widow's jar in Elisha's time kept pouring until every vessel was filled. Had she poured into broken or dirty vessels, the oil would have been wasted. Likewise, you must discern where your time, your energy, and your words are meant to flow. Not everyone is assigned to receive from you. This is why discernment is your shield. The more you grow in your anointing, the more careful you must become. Not cautious out of fear, but wise out of stewardship. Oil that is wasted cannot be reclaimed, but oil that is preserved multiplies. Chosen one. One of the greatest temptations after victory is to relax, to grow careless, to assume the battles are over. But in truth, the greater the crown, the greater the demand for vigilance. What you carry is now visible, and the enemy would like nothing more than to see it drained through carelessness. Guard your oil by staying close to the source. Keep your vessel filled through prayer, through worship, through intimacy with God. You must also guard your oil from weariness. Serving from an empty vessel only leads to burnout. Even Jesus withdrew to solitary places to pray. to be replenished. If he, the Son of God, valued his time with the Father to sustain his ministry, how much more must you? Guarding your oil means honoring rest, renewing your spirit, and refusing to pour from emptiness. Finally, know this: your oil is not just for you. It is for the broken, the lost, the weary, the ones who will encounter you and leave transformed. But for your oil to flow in power, it must be preserved in purity. That is why heaven continually calls you higher, away from distractions, deeper into consecration. Chosen one, the oil on your life is your heritage, your treasure, your responsibility. Do not take it lightly. Guard it with reverence, preserve it with prayer, and let it flow only where heaven directs. In this way, you honor the one who pressed you, who refined you, and who entrusted you with something too holy to waste. Chosen one, though you have walked through fire, though you have been pressed for oil, though you have stood in isolation, you must know this: you are not alone in your journey. There are others scattered across the earth, hidden in silence, walking through valleys like you, who carry the same mark of heaven. The time is approaching when these chosen ones will be drawn together, not by coincidence, but by divine orchestration. This gathering is not about building a crowd. It is about forming an unshakable remnant. For in every generation, God sets apart a people who refuse to bow to darkness, who carry his fire with purity, who stand when others fall. You are part of that remnant, and though you may feel alone now, you are about to discover that there are others who speak your language, who carry the same weight, who burn with the same flame. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Malachi. Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. Do you see? Even in ancient times, the chosen gathered, and heaven recorded their unity. Their conversations became memorials in the throne room. Their fellowship was sacred. Chosen one. The gathering of the marked ones is unlike anything the world understands. It is not about similarity of culture, background, or personality. It is about alignment of spirit. When two chosen ones meet, their spirits recognize each other. Even before words are spoken, it feels like coming home after a long journey, like fire, touching fire. And yet, this gathering requires maturity. For while you are called to connect with others, you must not lose the individuality of your anointing. The oil that rests on you is unique. Your assignment, though it may overlap with theirs, has a distinct signature. The gathering is not meant to erase your individuality, but to amplify it, to create harmony without demanding sameness. Think of an orchestra. Each instrument carries its own tone, its own sound, its own weight. Alone, the sound is beautiful, but when joined with others under the direction of the conductor, the sound becomes overwhelming, majestic, transformative. That is what happens when chosen ones unite. Alone, you carry light. Together, you become a blaze that no darkness can withstand. The danger, of course, is counterfeits. Not everyone who calls themselves chosen carries true oil. Some mimic the language of light, but carry motives rooted in pride or deception. This is why discernment is crucial. You must allow the Spirit to reveal who is truly aligned with you. Just as Gideon's army was reduced from thousands to a remnant of 300, the gathering is not about numbers, but about authenticity. Chosen one. When the time comes, you will find yourself drawn to voices, faces, and hearts that resonate with your own. You will feel peace in their presence, not drain. You will sense life in their words, not heaviness. You will feel strengthened by their fire, not threatened. This is how you will know who belongs in your circle. The gathering of chosen ones does not happen in noise, but in divine timing. You will not have to chase it. Heaven will orchestrate it. Paths will cross unexpectedly. Conversations will carry unusual weight. And connections will form that cannot be explained naturally. Do not rush this. Trust that God knows exactly when and how to weave the remnant together. And when it happens, guard it with reverence. Do not let jealousy, comparison, or competition poison what heaven has orchestrated. Remember that your crown is not diminished by someone else's crown. Your fire is not dimmed by someone else's flame. Together, you do not lose your light, you multiply it. Chosen one, prepare your heart for this. Prepare to walk in unity without losing your individuality. Prepare to celebrate others without fear of being overlooked. Prepare to carry your oil alongside theirs without compromise. This is not a gathering for pride, but for purity. Not for ego, but for empowerment. You may feel alone now, but the time is coming when you will see the larger picture. You are one thread in a divine tapestry, one stone in a living temple, one flame in an eternal fire. And when the chosen gather, the world will tremble, not at your strength alone, but at the glory of God reflected in your unity. So hold steady. Chosen one, remain faithful in your solitude, because soon you will stand among others marked just like you. And when that day comes, you will realize you were never truly alone. You were always part of something greater, something eternal, something that will shake the foundations of darkness. Chosen one, do you know what truly surrounds you? Not just the air you breathe, not just the people you see, but legions of heaven's armies watching, guiding, and warring on your behalf. You are never unguarded, even when you felt abandoned, even when you thought you were standing alone in battle. Unseen forces were at your side. There are moments when you sense it, the brush of peace in the middle of chaos, the sudden calm that floods your heart, the way danger was averted without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are the evidence of heaven's armies fighting for you. While the enemy plotted traps, angelic warriors dismantled them. While accusations rose against you, heaven's voice silenced them. The ancient words remind us in the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 91, verse 11. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. This promise is not poetry, it is reality. Angels have been commanded concerning you. Their assignment is protection. Their presence is constant. You walk surrounded by a shield you cannot always see, but one that darkness cannot break through. Imagine yourself as a traveler carrying a lantern across a night forest. The lantern is small, but suddenly you notice a circle of torches burning in the distance. Those flames do not come from you. They surround you. That is what angelic reinforcement is like. Even when your own flame flickers, The circle of heaven's light remains around you. Unshaken. October 6 was spoken as a day of separation, but it is also a day of heightened covering. On that day, you may feel even more keenly the presence of protection. It may come as an unusual peace, a stillness that rests upon you, or a strength you cannot explain. This is heaven's way of saying, you are not stepping into this alone. Chosen one. I know it is easy to forget this. You live in a world where battles feel visible, loud, and relentless. Bills pile up. Conflicts arise. People misunderstand you. The weight of life convinces you that you are fighting alone. But your unseen reality is different. For every visible challenge, there are invisible hands lifting you. For every visible storm, there is an invisible shield over you. For every visible attack, there is an invisible counterstrike on your behalf. That is why your faith must stretch beyond what you see. You cannot live only by your physical senses. You must train yourself to recognize the spiritual. When you wake up and feel a strength that you did not earn, that is heaven. When you survive moments that should have broken you, that is heaven. When you walk away from destruction that others did not survive, that is heaven's army at work. Chosen one. Do not mistake stillness for absence. Sometimes the greatest proof of God's armies around you is the peace that guards your heart in the middle of chaos. The enemy tries to make you believe you are uncovered. But if that were true, you would not still be here. You are living proof that the shield never left you. Think of your life as a book. You see only the current page, but heaven sees the entire manuscript. That is why you are protected from dangers you never even knew existed. You think the story is fragile, but the author has already sealed the ending. The armies surrounding you are part of his guarantee that your story will not end in destruction. And now, chosen one, as you step deeper into this revelation, I ask you to do something small but meaningful. Let this truth not only rest in your heart, but ripple outward. If these words resonate with you, take a moment to press like. It is like adding another stone to a memorial, ensuring this message remains visible for others who need the same reminder. Share it. 2. Like passing a torch in the dark. You may never meet the one who receives it, but your act of sharing could be the light that keeps them walking. And subscribe, not as an empty action, but as a way of saying, I will not let my flame go out. I will remain connected to words that keep my oil burning. And finally, anchor it with your voice. Write into the comments, I am guarded. These 3 words are not empty. They are declaration. They push back against fear. They silence the lies of abandonment. They remind you that the unseen armies are real. You may not see them, but your declaration aligns your spirit with the truth that they are there. Chosen one. Your journey has been long, your battles fierce, but your protection has never wavered. Heaven's armies remain at your side, not for a moment, not for a season, but for every step. Do not fear what rises against you. Do not tremble at the shadows. You are guarded. You are covered. You are surrounded. Chosen one. Imagine for a moment what it means to have your name spoken in heaven. Think of the King of all creation, the one who stretched out the heavens and formed the seas, whispering your name before angelic hosts. Think of your life, with all its battles and scars, being mentioned in the courts of eternity. That is the reality you walk in. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are remembered, honored, and spoken of in places higher than earth. When heaven speaks your name, it is not merely sound, it is recognition. It is a declaration that you belong to God, that you are marked, that you are set apart. The world may misunderstand you. People may mislabel you. But heaven knows who you are. In the eternal scrolls, your story is written with divine ink. And every chapter testifies of God's faithfulness in you. Think of Job. On earth, he was a man living quietly. Yet in the heavenly realm his name was spoken with honor. Have you considered my servant Job? Heaven recognized his faithfulness, even before he understood the battles that would unfold. In the same way, your name echoes above, not because of perfection, but because of endurance. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this inscription: the Lord knows those who are his. In Christ, this is why you often feel the tension of being overlooked on earth. The recognition you crave rarely comes from people. They may ignore your efforts, dismiss your value, or fail to see the depth of what you carry. But do not be discouraged. Earthly recognition is temporary, but heavenly recognition is eternal. Would you rather be applauded by men for a season or honored by God for eternity? Chosen one. There is also responsibility in being named. When heaven speaks over you, it is not only a declaration of identity, but also a commissioning. It means you carry weight in the unseen, that your words and actions ripple beyond what you perceive. That is why your presence disrupts atmospheres, why your prayers shift realities, why your obedience carries such significance. Understand this: when your name is spoken in heaven, it is not whispered in isolation. Angelic armies hear it. Darkness hears it too. That is why resistance rises against you. That is why you feel targeted. It is because your name carries authority. When heaven affirms you, hell notices. But do not fear. Hell can only resist what God has already secured. Chosen one. Reflect on the times you felt forgotten. Those quiet nights when you wondered if your prayers mattered, if your struggles were invisible. The truth is, your name was being carried before the throne. Even then, every tear was recorded. Every sigh was heard. Every battle was noticed. You were never silent in heaven, even when you felt silenced on earth. Think of it like this: when an artist signs their name on a painting, it declares ownership and authenticity. No matter where the painting travels, the signature proves who it belongs to. Your life bears heaven's signature. Wherever you go, whatever you endure, that name over you, child of God, chosen one, marks you as authentic, as claimed, as untouchable by ownership of another. This is why your steps are guided, even when you do not realize it. This is why doors open that you did not knock on. Why you survive storms that should have destroyed you. Why you find strength you did not earn. It is because heaven has already named you, already claimed you, already marked you as belonging to God. Chosen one. There will come a day when every name is called, when every soul is brought into account. On that day, the name spoken in heaven now will be called with honor. Then, and when your name is spoken, it will not be with shame but with joy. It will echo as one who endured, one who obeyed, one who remained faithful even when unseen. Until that day, walk with confidence. You do not need constant affirmation from people. You do not need recognition from the crowd. You already carry the highest recognition possible. Your name is known in heaven. Your life is inscribed on the foundation of eternity. You belong. You are sealed. You are chosen. Hold this truth close, though earth may forget. Heaven never will. Though people may overlook, God never does. Though the world may misname you, heaven calls you by your true name, and that name echoes still unshaken. Eternal, forever marked in the courts of glory. Chosen one, the moment has come. You have walked through fire, endured crushing, carried scars, and learned to guard your oil. You have listened to the instructions, obeyed the call to separate, and understood the power of the unseen armies surrounding you. Now, all of it leads to this: crossing into the new territory heaven has prepared. There is a shift when you step into land that was promised. It does not feel like ordinary ground beneath your feet. It feels weighty, consecrated, alive with destiny. It is the place where your past no longer defines you, where your struggles no longer imprison you, where your scars no longer whisper shame but declare victory. This is what it means to cross over. For Israel, the crossing came at the Jordan River. The waters parted, and the people stepped on dry ground into a land flowing with promise. But notice, they did not enter carrying the wilderness with them. The old manna stopped. The wilderness clothes were shed. They stepped into something new because the old had fulfilled its purpose. The same is true for you. You cannot take wilderness habits into promised land living. What worked in survival will not work in abundance. The Spirit spoke through Joshua in ancient days, and his words still stand. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. But you must walk in it boldly. Promised land still has battles. Giants still dwell there. Walls may still rise before you. The difference now is that you do not fight as a wanderer, you fight as an heir. The land already belongs to you. The battles are only a test of whether you believe it. Chosen one. Do not waste time longing for the wilderness out of fear of the unknown. It is easy to remember the simplicity of manna when faced with the complexity of harvest. But the manna was never meant to last forever. It was temporary provision. You were made for vineyards, for wells, for harvest. Do not trade abundance for comfort. This crossing also requires identity. You cannot walk into new land still calling yourself broken. You cannot plant vineyards while speaking as though you are barren. You cannot build altars while clinging to shame. The new territory demands a new posture, head lifted, shoulders squared, voice steady, not in pride, but in holy confidence. You are not trespassing, you are inheriting. And remember this, you do not cross for yourself alone. Just as Israel's crossing into Canaan made way for generations after them, your obedience to step into new land will create legacy, children, families, communities. Even nations will be impacted by your willingness to embrace what God has given. Your crossing is not just for today, it is for tomorrow. Chosen one. Take a deep breath. This is the ground you prayed for, the ground you wept for, the ground you fought for when no one else believed you could endure. Every tear watered it. Every battle marked it. Every scar sealed it. And now, your feet stand at its edge. Step forward. Step boldly. Step with faith. The land is yours. Do not fear the giants. Do not tremble at the walls. You carry the presence that topples fortresses and scatters enemies. You carry the oil that marks kings and breaks chains. You carry the fire that lights the night and drives out shadows. This land is not defended by your strength, but by heaven's promise. Walk into it as one who belongs. And when you step across, lift your eyes. See the horizon stretching wide. Fields waiting for harvest. Rivers flowing with life. This is the land of the chosen. This is the inheritance of the faithful. This is the territory that once seemed impossible, but is now yours to claim. Chosen one, you have crossed. You are no longer who you were in the wilderness. You are no longer bound by the chains of your past. You are no longer marked by defeat. You are crowned, anointed, protected, and established. The land is yours. The promise is yours. The future is yours. Chosen one, you have walked with me through every section. From the moment heaven whispered your victory to the day of separation. From guarding your oil to stepping boldly into your promised land. Now you stand at the conclusion of this message, but, in truth, it is not an ending. It is a beginning. You are no longer wandering, no longer questioning if you are seen. You are marked. You are crowned. And you are established. The battles that once felt unbearable have become the very foundation of your authority. The tears that once felt wasted have become the oil that marks your anointing. The silence that once crushed you has become the sacred space where you now hear heaven clearly. Think of a lighthouse on a dark coast. Its light was never meant for itself. It was built to guide others home. That is you now. Chosen one. Your journey is not just about survival, it is about shining. Someone else, still lost in the storm, will find their way because you chose to keep your light burning. And so, I ask you to let this flame ripple outward. Press like on this word if it stirred something inside you. Each like is a spark that helps this light remain visible for others. Share it. The way a torch is passed from one hand to another, so that someone else who feels forgotten will know they, too, are chosen. Comment your declaration below, not as empty words, but as a testimony that you have heard and received this message. And if you have not yet subscribed, do so now, not as a routine click, but as a prophetic act saying, I will remain connected to the flow of truth that feeds my spirit. End. Chosen one. This is your hour. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are chosen. Step forward boldly. Your story has only just begun.